My prediction of Warriors in 6 is on shaky ground already. Hello and welcome to our Bella Early Edition. I'm Trenni Kusnierek. I'm not ready to change my prediction just yet, but I'm about a game away from changing my mind. Damn, that was an impressive comeback. It was also encouraging to see the Celtics only down by 4 with Steph Curry going off in the first quarter, and they were leading at the half as well. Once again, the Celtics didn't show any quit. Now, I want to see consistency. The only reason I didn't pick the Celtics in this series is because they can just be so up and down. But watching them last night, you can't help but think maybe they've learned to be resilient in games, not just after a tough loss, which is why it was mind-blowing to me listening to Draymond Green after the game last night. The way Green was talking, you would think the Celtics only win games when they're lights out from 3.
We pretty much dominated the game for the first 41, 42 minutes, so we'll be fine. They hit 21 threes, and Marcus Smart, Al Horford, and Derek White combined for 15 of them. So those guys are good shooters, but
someone should tell Green and also Steph Curry and Steve Kerr that, okay, they're not wrong. The Celtics probably will not shoot 65% for the game from 3 and 75% in the fourth, but Jason Tatum also isn't going to shoot that awful again either. And the Celtics defense, they're going to continue to hound you. If the Warriors think what happened last night was just this aberration and the Celtics team can be walked over, they have not been paying attention, and I will thankfully be proven wrong. All right, we are live at the finals. Eddie House and Brian Scalabrine were at the game last night. Scal, let's start with you. What were your reactions to Draymond Green's comments? Because I thought to myself, you gotta be smarter than that, right? Like, you know, you just lit a fire under a team that likes to have its fire lit.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of truth to what he's saying. I mean, it was a historic comeback. Now, the only thing I would say is the Celtics came back from down by 15. They didn't squeak out a win. They won by double figures. The guys who came into the game were, guys 10 through 15. So if it was one thing, if the Celtics got back in the game and at the end they squeaked out a win and you're like, man, we just let go of the rope a little bit, they got destroyed. So I do think that, in my opinion, when you're looking at what the Golden State Warriors have to change, they got to stop playing guys that can't guard. If you're going to win this game, you're going to win it with Steph Curry making shots, great ball movement, and a bunch of tough guys on the defensive end. And right now, they chose this weird path to go with Jordan Poole and Iguodala, like figuring it out in the NBA Finals. It was a mistake by Kerr to take Steph out of the game at that moment.
Eddie, do you think it was a mistake for Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, and Draymond Green after the game to sort of dismiss the Celtics and say, well, they're not going to do that again, so ...
I think what it was an excuse. It was something that they can look at and say, well, this won't happen again because of that. That's the reason why we lost. It was just something to point a finger at. But let's not forget, this same Warriors team was trailing for 47 minutes and 20 seconds against the Memphis Grizzlies and ended up winning that game. But they were resilient, and that's what the Warriors do. And all these other, whatever you want to throw out there, that championship pedigree, and it got to play 48 minutes. It's not just a 47-minute game. So I don't want to hear it on the flip side. It's not fun when the rabbit got the gun. So I don't want to hear it on the flip side when you are the recipient of a whooping. So I don't like the excuse making, but then again, I don't like it like you deflecting and acting like the Celtics didn't do something good. To Brian's point, they won by 10 points. They didn't win on a buzzer beater.
Yeah, they came back. They came back fierce last night in that fourth quarter. I'm not sure if you guys heard my monologue. I'm like teetering, I'm like straddling the fence on whether or not I should change my prediction. Eddie, can you convince me as to why I should not worry about the Celtics' consistency? Because that's what worries me, right? That the Warriors will bounce back in Game 2, and all of a sudden we're having a totally different conversation on Monday.
Me and Brian was talking about this. We are not going to convince you to change your mind and who you are rolling with. Let me tell you why, because you was wrong about Game 1. You were wrong about Jordan Poole. So just stay on that side. Don't come over here now. Wait till it's all over with. Please stay where you at right now. We like what you're doing. It's the reverse mojo you got going on. I'm rolling with it.
All right, Trenni, do you still feel like the Celtics are not inconsistent. Like they were awful in the third quarter.
Right.
They had a great opportunity
And in the first.
Yeah, and then to start the game they were awful, but then an incredible fourth quarter. So I've now, after Game 6 against Miami and after the 13-0 that Miami, the run to almost win Game 7 when Jimmy Butler rose up, I just accept it now. I don't really actually ride the emotional roller coaster. I just kind of trust that they'll figure it out, and if they don't this game, then they'll figure it out the next game. But I am fully expecting there to be a roller coaster ride. And by the way, the Warriors, you ride that roller coaster too with them. They turned that ball over a lot.
Yeah, they did. They did. Well, guys, I'm not good at just trusting the process and what's going to happen. I'm a hot mess of anxiety all the time. So this is what you get, but I'm hoping, again, that I am wrong.